Hello everyone again. Today we're going to talk about what Martin Luther's up to during all of this and some reformers that kind of butted heads with Luther quite a bit. I think it's important to note that Luther, he started his Reformation by going against the Catholic Church, but when he was able to publish the Bible in German, or at least the New Testament anyway, he started to find out that he made a mistake in his mind because there started to become a lot of diverse ways of viewing things. He thought that if the people were able to see his book, read the Bible for themselves, they would come to the same conclusions as him. He had a wonderful naivete for that kind of stuff. This guy was brilliant, but he thought that, if you just read this book, read the Bible in your own language, you'll see what I see. That wasn't the case. So he actually spent the next part of his life not necessarily just fighting the Catholic Church. He actually agreed with the Catholic Church way more than he agreed with these new reformers that we're going to talk about next week. So a lot of his time was combating these new reformers that came from his own doing. So he almost felt like it was his responsibility to debate them and show them the errors of their ways, as he says, just like he did with the Catholic Church. I think it's important to note that Luther has been tracked by the Catholic Church. There is a price on his head. He is trying to meet with the council and kind of give his 2 cents on what he wants to change in the church. So just a kind of quick overview of what happens if you're considered a heretic in the church. You were able to go and kind of give your 2 cents. You were able to say, this is my grievance with the church. These are the reasons why I disagree with the current teaching. And the council would actually look it over, at least they were supposed to, look it over and kind of say, yeah, this is something that we should look into, and thank you, Luther, you're free to go. Or, which is what happened, is they told Luther, you're wrong. We've been teaching it this way for 1,500 years, so you can go back to Wittenberg as long as you say, I'm sorry for this, and recant of your sins. But he didn't do that. Martin Luther dug his heels in and said, nope, you're wrong, I'm right. Or at least let's look into this and kind of figure this out together, and rather than just saying, no, I'm wrong. But he was then sent away and smartly fearful of his life, he was taken into custody or shelter by a few royals, nobles, and then a king here and there. And he was pretty much free to go as he wanted, but he was under the protection of his popularity, as he wrote a lot of books during this time too, and became popular with the people. So the Catholic Church, they also didn't want to kill Luther in a bad way because they didn't want to lose many of their followers. So Luther was in an interesting position. But as I said, he kind of caused a lot of issues for himself as well, with the Zwinglians, the Calvinists, and then now the Church of England, which kind of wasn't Luther's fault, but it kind of was, because he kind of gave the green light to showing the weakness now of the Catholic Church. So leaving the Catholic Church wasn't as hard as it used to be. And then honestly, probably the thing he wanted most, the Council of Trent, that he never really got to experience. It didn't settle everything he wanted to settle, but I think Luther would have been proud of the people of the time about coming together and trying to figure this stuff out. But unfortunately, Luther went up against a pope that just was unwilling to compromise, against a council of cardinals that were unwilling to compromise. He was unwilling to compromise. His followers were unwilling to compromise, and it just turned into this battle of I'm right, you're wrong, that started out innocent, started out trying to change the church, but turned into a bloodbath, really. A lot of people died because of this. And a splitting up of the church, which Luther never wanted. But here we are today with a bunch of diversity, a bunch of different ways to worship God, and we are going to talk next week about some of the foundations on the denominations we see today. Have a good weekend. Bye.